Kobold, it's Dragon Week!
Yup, and I'm a dragon type, so I feel very special today. Dragons are based. Dungeons and Dragons. Dragon Week is where you have to worship Tiamat and kill gnomes. You also have to give me your credit card information so I can add that to my hoard. You see, I'm a dragon type, you know? I need wealth. Send me a private message on Discord. Also, tons of other content creators have come together to worship us. There will be a playlist in the description. I also made a video with Bone Wizard about Dragon Sorcerer. You should check it out and subscribe. He makes really good content. Anyways, dragons. I'm part of the dragon cult. Tiamat is based, and my enemies are the metallic dragons. Well, except for this guy, I like him. He has a pass. Anyways, I know most of you guys are power gaming murder hobos. So today, I'm gonna teach you how to fight metallic dragons safely and very effectively.
Isn't that pretty straightforward?
Well, Gator, you'll be so surprised how many people fail at the basics, like taking full cover, or spreading out so that the cone doesn't affect everyone, you know? These are basic movement strategies anyone can do. If there's a paladin in the group with a good aura, then that can change the movement a bit, but you know, it's mostly the same. By the way, right now with the new monster manual, dragons are a lot stronger, so this is pretty important to know if you're going to play in a dragon campaign. Wizards of the Coast's next book is going to have 10 adventures involving dragons, so this is the perfect time for this video. So welcome to Pack Tactics.
Yip.
With dragons, let's use logic. It's a flying creature with a ranged breath weapon. It's usually a cone AoE. Not only that, they're insanely fast and have massive range. Now in 2024, they also have spells. We'll talk more about the flight later. For now, let's focus on the breath and the spells. The spells are themed around the dragon. The breath is an elemental. Usually, these spells are an elemental type. So picking up something like absorb elements from elemental evil will help immensely, like by Tiamat's tits. I can't tell you how many times this spell has saved my life. It's a first level reaction spell that gives you resistance to the triggering damage type until the start of your next turn. It works on acid, cold, fire, lightning, and thunder damage. There's more to the spell, but that's the important part. I'm telling you right now, this spell is so insanely easy to dip for. If you're playing in a dragon campaign, then this is a mandatory spell as soon as you hit tier 2. Breath weapons do a ton of damage. But also, like, logic again. Look at Mines of Phandelver. There's a green dragon right there on the cover of the book. There's probably gonna be a green dragon in the campaign. Maybe I should roll up a green dragonborn for poison resistance, you know? Or maybe the cleric or druid can prepare protection from poison for the day when you know you guys are gonna fight a dragon. This spell lasts for an hour and it's not concentration. If you guys are playing in tier 3, Hero's Feast gives the party a massive buff, and look at that! Your friends have resistance to poison damage and has immunity to the frightened and poison condition. If you're playing classic 5e, then this is immunity to poison damage, which makes green dragons almost useless. Hero's Feast is a fantastic protection spell from any dragon really, because dragons have Frightful Presence, which is an AoE frighten condition. That's gonna give you disadvantage and approaching the dragon is gonna be harder.
But Kobold, new dragons don't have that anymore.
White dragons do, and the feature is even stronger now because it causes fear. A frightened creature has to take the dash action and move away from the dragon by the safest route on each of its turns, unless there's nowhere to move. To break free of the fear, you have to end your turn behind cover out of line of sight of the dragon, and then make a wisdom saving throw. If you're fighting a white dragon at an open field and you fail that first save, you're screwed. That dragon can in theory just default kill you. So Hero's Feast is mandatory if you know you're gonna fight a dragon.
White dragons are my favorite.
They're so stupid. For a lot of them, you can bait a breath weapon with just a find familiar. and then go into the fight. Dragons are extremely stereotypical, and they're very predictable. You can even use their personality against them. Red dragons are fantastic skirmishers with breath weapons, scorching ray spam, and fireball. They have 80-foot fly speed, and they can fly in and out of cover, or they can just be far up in the air. They have 0 reasons to land an attack or be in melee. They can absolutely default kill a stupid melee marshal, but they don't. As soon as you taunt them and call them a coward for staying up in the air, they immediately land and get killed. Red noobs. Gee, I wonder why our faction loses all the time. Optimally, if they really want to, they could be the best skirmishers in the entire game. Dragons are so insanely hard to reach. They have so much speed and so much range. Have you guys ever tried chasing a dragon? It's so insanely hard. Again, let's use logic. You might fight an optimal dragon. I highly doubt it though. They're not common. Optimal dragons is something you would see in like gauntlets and optimal games. But if you do fight one and you don't have anything ranged, then you are useless for this fight. By the way, I don't care what you're playing. It's most likely good in other fights. It's fine, you know? But it's extremely important to get a weapon or a spell that has range. Javelins and 60 to 90 foot cantrips are probably not enough range against a smart dragon. So I highly recommend getting crossbows or especially longbows if you can use them. You know, longbows can outrange the dragon. Longbows are the sniper rifles of D&D. Although not as effective, but anyways, you might not be good at using these because maybe you're playing a strength build, maybe you're playing a cleric that invested heavily into wisdom, stuff like that. And these dragons have a lot of AC, but at least you're doing something and can easily go into full cover, so the dragon struggles with you. You don't want to play their annoying skirmisher game. No, you're the boss here. You gotta show dominance. You gotta force them to stop being annoying. And when they stop and they're in proper range, then you do what you usually do. Now, if your party has a good amount of money and time on your hands, craft wands of magic missiles. It costs 200 gold, and with help, it will take 5 days to make in total. Get a hireling. You're in mid-tier 2 probably. You have the money for all of these things. Anyone in the game can use a wand of magic missile. It doesn't require attunement, you can stack up a bunch of them, and they're super useful for melee marshals who struggle with range. They get to hit the flying dragon. Oh yeah, because I'm on the internet, obviously you need to talk to your DM about crafting, which you do anyways. You talk to your DM about everything. You literally can't play this game without talking to your DM. It's really silly that I have to mention this, but I've gotten a lot of backlash over it for some reason. And one last thing. If you're playing a ranged weapon build, pick up sharpshooter. That way, the dragon can't skirmish you at all. You'll never have disadvantage. If you're playing the 2014 version, power attacking is most likely a DPR loss. So just attack normally. If you know their AC, then you can calculate it out, which I recommend you do if you're optimizing.
Cobalt, we might get in trouble with the dragon cult. You've said so much bad things about chromatic dragons.
Then we'll cheer them up with World Anvil. In my worlds, they've taken over everything and Tiamat walks the earth.
Yay! We won!
Yes, the good guys won. Anyways, this is a powerful tool where you're basically God creating your own worlds. It's a very good teacher that gives you plenty of ideas on what to build next and what to expand on. And it has a great community to back it. I have friends who dabble in this stuff like Hatwolf, who recently won an award from them. Congratulations, my friend. That's right, World Anvil has events too and are very active with their own community. It's pretty pretty fun. It's a great place to get into world building, writing, DMing, finding custom world games, and much, much more. I highly recommend checking out World Anvil, especially if you want to create your own world. Use the code PACK at the checkout and you'll get a 51% off any yearly subscription. Back to the video. Metallic dragons are smarter than chromatic dragons and are more powerful. I don't care what the dragon cult says, that's the truth. Like, have you seen what silver dragons can do? They have paralyzing breath, which will destroy your party fast. Super scary stuff. So let's get more into optimization. If you're in a town or a city or just have time to prepare, Potion of Resistance is an uncommon magic item you can maybe find at a shop. You can go into the potion shop and be like, "Potion seller, I'm going into battle. I need your strongest resistance potion."
You can't handle my potions, Kobold. They're too optimal for you.
Oh, wow, dang. Or maybe someone in your party can craft these potions. I know druids get the tool proficiency. Crafting these potions is super cheap, and it takes 2.5 days to craft one, assuming you're using a hireling, by the way. This potion lasts for an hour and is a bonus action to drink in 2024. You should always be thinking about this, especially if you don't have absorb elements for whatever reason. Now let's talk about spells again. I know I'm kind of all over the place. It is possible to get a dragon out of the sky with something like Web, for example. Web can stay in the air for a round before disappearing. If the dragon fails to save, then their speed is reduced to 0, which will cause them to plummet down and take fall damage and be knocked prone. If you're fighting dragons with legendary resistance, then this is not gonna work. I already made a video about legendary resistance, link in the description. I mention a ton of spells and stuff. It's a great follow-up to this video. Not everything applies though in that video, because well, dragons can fly. But you get the gist, like anything with half damage is useful against legendary resistance. Then there's Wall of Force and Force Cage. These are dragon killers. These are no safe shutdown, and if you combo it with your friends, then you guys can microwave the dragon with something like Sickening Radiance. Now keep in mind with Wall of Force and Force Cage, when you cast this spell on them, you choose where they're positioned. So if the dragon is too big for the spell, you can maybe squeeze the dragon into the spell depending on the size. Link in the description for more details on specifically Wall of Force. And finally, we gotta talk about Rope Trick. Every optimized party picks this for emergency cases, and it's especially powerful against dragons. It makes it super safe to fight or even avoid them. The best way to look at this is it's an action cast spell that makes an extra dimensional space that you and your friends can go in. This space is better than full cover. By the way, the length of the rope can be up to 60 feet long. I recommend cutting the rope to like 10 or 15 feet so you don't need to climb that high to get into the space. The tactic is really simple. Everyone gets in and you pull the rope. You can either hide or avoid the dragon with this, or you can fight the dragon using this tactic. You poke out of the barrier, shoot your spell or attack or whatever you have, and then pull the rope. Your party does the same thing. Now what's extra special is nothing can pass through the barrier, so you have to lean out to do something. The dragon will likely ready in action to use its breath weapon when you lean out, but when you do, you're the only one who will take damage from it. Everyone else is completely safe, which is a huge win. Also, most dragons can't fit through the 5-foot entry, so there's little they can do unless they have Dispel Magic or something. But that's basically it. That's everything. The ultimate guide to killing dragons. Now go out there and murder some metallic dragons in Tiamat's name. And check out the other content creators too. Happy Dragon Week. End of video.
Guys, look! Dice, 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 dice! They're on Kickstarter! We need more followers! Anyways, bye-bye!